right, we are good.
Okay. Okay, I call the Perry Township Board of Trustees meeting to order on December 8th, 2020, 7 p.m. Jason, you want to lead us in the pledge tonight?
Sure. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic
for
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Lincoln, will you take roll?
Mears,
Yes.
Wynn,
yes,
Hartshorn,
Yes.
Okay, I need a motion for to pass the resolution 2020-142 to 145, approval of minutes and payments of the bills.
I make a motion that we approve minutes and bills.
Seconded.
Wynn,
Yes,
Hartshorn,
Yes.
Mears.
Yes.
For the fiscal officer report, the emergency operations was emailed to Montgomery County Office of Emergency Management in regards to the emergency field resource field inventory list for Perry Township. This is the same that was submitted in 2018 for the equipment. 2020 UAN year end was online December 1st, 2020, and the fiscal officer hours have been reported. Sheep Road paperwork is being processed for final settlement. For the OTARMA board members, did all of you look over what I sent a day or two ago? And Trustee Mears, which two candidates would you like? We can start with you.
I haven't decided yet.
Has Trustee Wynn or Hartshorn, have you, or you want to wait until?
I'll send mine in an email. I'll be honest, I didn't get a chance to review the names yet.
Okay,
I haven't exactly made up a decision. I'm kind of waiting to see what everyone else does.
okay. I'll address that, I guess, at the maybe the year-end meeting. Is that okay?
Yep.
The OTARMA annual renewal questionnaire form has been completed and sent back. Currently, we have a 4 million coverage. I did request a 3 million coverage cost just to review the price difference. This will be due in April of 2021. And I've emailed the Montgomery County auditors, requested the 2019/2020 shared revenue for New Lebanon and Perry. Gloria got back with me after emailing her a couple times. She's been working in multiple different areas, so she should have that for me later this week, which I'll invoice New Lebanon then for that. I also contacted the Board of Elections for the fire and EMS levy for the primary election in May 4th, 2021. This will be classified as a special election, which if we put the fire and EMS levy on the ballot, Perry Township will need to pay 100% of it. So my recommendation is that we wait for the November general election of 2021.
I was under the impression that's what we were doing anyway. Was there some debate about that, or did I misunderstand?
I don't remember us discussing putting it on in the November election. I thought we were going to do it at the primary. But after hearing the that we would have to pay 100% of it, I think when Clay Township put a fire and EMS levy on the August ballot, I think it was around $10,000. Not saying that's what Perry's would be, but I think we could wait till November since we do have a 3-year period that passed. And also the phone directory for the building and development of 2021. I emailed Karen. Karen, did you want any more added information? Or were you okay with the name change and email? Karen on here.
I was okay with just the name change in the email. I didn't see where we need to change anything else.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted anything else added.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Kraft, Road and Cemetery?
Yes, cemetery, graves leveled, Thursday, hopefully to have topsoil placed on the graves to dress them up, trash cans and so forth dumped at the cemeteries. As far as road, started mowing roads and our mower went down about halfway through. We are looking into that. If not, we can maybe possibly get Clays to finish up. And then the sheep road, we need to put C-rock. The only thing left to do is put C-rock around the culvert inlets. And then we do have the rest of the grates to put on the tile, so we will be doing that. And then trucks, 99 International, last snow went down, the alternator went out. So we replaced the alternator and belt in that. And the 2001 truck, we put new front tires on that one and replaced the tie rod ends and new oil line on that one. So truck should be all ready to go. And then as far as other road work, hoping to get down to Abden Drive. We got a crossing, culvert crossing we need to pave. So hopefully get county's hot box to go down and do that next week. And then I think pretty much, I think Thornapple is also a culvert that has settled. We want to put some asphalt on before winter. And that should take care of the asphalting at this time. So on that note, with the year we've had and what we've been able to accomplish this year with 2 road projects and all the activity in the cemeteries, I would like to give Dale and Dave a 75-cent raise an hour, and I would like to give Randy $1.50. Any discussion on that?
I don't have a problem with a pay increase. There's been a lot of good work done. What are the thoughts from the other trustees?
And then plus Randy's role coming up, he's gonna have more responsibility, and that just adds for him too.
That's kind of where I was thinking as far as Randy. If it's in the budget and you guys are okay with it, I'm okay with it.
I don't have an issue.
Okay. So Mike, how much was that again for?
$1.50 for Randy.
Yep.
And Dale, or the part-timers hadn't had a raise in 3 years, so that give them a 75-cent raise.
And who was the
But
other
it'd
one
be
besides Dale?
$16.25, I believe, for the part-time.
Right. What was the other gentleman's name besides Dale that's part-time?
Dave.
Dave. Thank you. Okay. I make a motion to increase Randy Robbins' hourly rate by $1.50 and Dale Mears and Dave, I should ask what his last name was.
Stephanie.
Dave Steppy.
Dave Steffi's hourly rate by 75 cents an hour.
I'll second.
Hartshorn,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Mears,
Abstain.
All right. Was there anything else, Mike?
Yeah, this will be for Mindy. I got the letter, Mindy, that on my Thanksgiving pay, in paragraph 2, it does state in the Ohio Revised Code, which is nothing in the policy handbook, but in the Ohio Revised Code, it says if you do not work the day before, of, and after, you don't get paid for it. But paragraph 3, if I provide a letter with excruciating circumstances, then I will get paid. And I believe I did turn that letter in.
Okay, well, what I said to Rhonda is, do as you will, and what's done is done. We need to watch in the future, though. And I know what's in the handbook, a lot of it's not corresponding with the Ohio Revised Code. I've got multiple years experience in Ohio labor laws, and that was one of the things that just caught my attention. Generally, and according to the Ohio Revised Code that I had cited, if you don't work the day before and you don't work the day after, and there's no other work days in that week, even with the letter for extenuating circumstances, holiday pay does not apply, and one generally needs to use their sick hours.
Well, yeah, but how's that say when paragraph 3 says if I give a letter in, which I did, I can understand if you take the day of or day after because you just want to take it off. But I had a pretty good reason for being off, and that paragraph 3 states that.
Right. No, I'm not disagreeing.
And I guess and then Mindy, history for 38 years, we've always got paid for a holiday, whether you had a day off or not, before or after. But I mean, if the Ohio Revised Code says you can't do it, that's fine. But I did have a good reason for being off.
No, I understand, Mike, and yes, you did. And I'm not going to argue with you. History in this township has been quite skewed for a very long time. And it's not that we're happy about doing things the way they need to be done, because we didn't come in to barrel in and change everything that's been done for X number of years. But there are a lot of things that have been done incorrectly and illegally. And if we're going to start doing things by the book, because there are people that are saying, we want you to do things by the book, and they're watching us do things by the book, that's going to apply to everything, including how people get paid.
Well, I understand, but I didn't know if you looked at paragraph 3, which it states if I provide a letter stating extenuating circumstances, and which I did, that nulls that I do get paid for that holiday for a holiday pay.
And that's why I told Rhonda she could leave it, because that is at the discretion of the employer. But I did tell Rhonda not to make any changes and that she could leave it, that it was up to her how she wanted to handle it, because she is the fiscal officer. But in the future, we do need to be aware of how we are maintaining our timesheets and how we are receiving pay. That's something that has been scrutinized before. That's something that will be scrutinized again. And there are policies that are way outdated from the Ohio Revised Code. It's a really hard thing for Jason and me coming into this to be told by OTARMA and be told by OTA, you have to do things a certain way, and then be told by township people, but we've always done it this way. And unfortunately,
well, and I agree if the Ohio Revised Code says what it is, but I just wanted to clear that I was all right to be paid for that holiday.
Nobody said you weren't. What the letter said was we need to watch for the future of how we're doing.
Well, it is just a question on there, do I get paid or not? And I do, but yeah, I understand if I just took it off to be taking it off, I wouldn't have got paid for it.
Right. You get paid regardless.
I have to use my time.
You get paid regardless of whether you use sick time or whether you use holiday pay.
Right.
Sick time comes out of your pocket. Holiday pay comes out of the townships.
Right.
So we need to kind of get that appropriate balance, and we need to start paying attention, because Christmas is coming up, New Year's is coming up, and there's going to be holidays with other employees in the future and next year. And if people are going to insist we're doing things right, we're going to do it right with everybody.
No problem with that. And then one more issue, and this is for Jason. Jason, when you called me at 12:10 this afternoon and put me on administrative leave, and you said that I had to use my sick time or my vacation time off, and my caseworker called me today, and we kind of discussed this, and actually the township has to pay me, not use my leave time. Any reply to that, Jason?
Yeah, I'll get with our legal counsel, because everything that I discussed with you was vetted from the legal counsel regarding the ORCs. and everything else. So if you want to contest that, understood, and we will take
But
appropriate
I'm
action.
just going by my counsel and American Disability Act and what she said. So I'm
That's
just passing it
perfectly
on to
fine.
you.
The gap here, and since you opened the can, I'll kind of pour it on the plate. What's at issue here is that the information that you've been asked to provide from your doctors that shows what your limitations are has not been done. That was asked for last week.
And I told you, Jason, I told you and Missy today, because of COVID, it's getting tough to get these notes the way it's supposed to be done.
I said that the other day.
So I've asked the doctor to provide that, and with COVID, they don't want you coming in or anything, because one of my appointments I had to do by teleconference, and because they don't want you coming in. So I am getting that letter for you. It ain't like I'm stonewalling or anything like that, but you know, I did get a release, and the doctors released me, but that ain't sufficient. I understand, but it's the choice of the township to put me on administrative leave. So then, according to what I've understand, it's up to the township to pay me.
Yeah, Mike, if I may, I have it kind of in writing. And we did speak with legal counsel. Jason talked to Nathaniel earlier, and I've done a lot of research on this. Ohio law does not require employers to provide employees with sick leave benefits, either paid or unpaid. If an employer chooses to provide benefits, it must comply with the terms of established policy or employment contract. What's happened in our situation here, and this does affect you, and this is something we may have to look at and work on for the future again, there is no policy. So what has happened is the township, again, has always done things a certain way. State of Ohio does have a hierarchical order of how employees are to be paid if there are sick leave benefits available. Generally, it starts with using however much accrued sick time or paid sick time is offered. After that sick time is is used up, then it goes to vacation time. After vacation time is used up, the employee might be eligible for FMLA. Unfortunately, we don't have enough employees for FMLA, so our township doesn't qualify for that. So the way it should work is it should use your sick time and then your holiday pay, then your comp time if you want to use that, which that's what the ORC states, but we have not enforced that. What Jason was saying to you is not incorrect. It's just never been done that way.
Yeah, I'm just going by what I understand my caseworker told me today, and this afternoon.
Right.
So I'm just passing it on.
Understood. Yeah.
So, you know, whatever happens after this happens, but we'll go from there and go on.
You know, we have an unfortunate situation, and it's what made Perry Township what Perry Township is, but we've always done things that way. And even, you know, prior to our past trustees, our last employee handbook was dated from, correct me if I'm wrong, Missy, 2000 and 2001.
Yes.
So that even predated our last trustees, our last elected officials. So no one's ever questioned why things were done a certain way. But now,
well, I'm not trying to do something. I'm just not trying to do something a certain way. But just like I said, you know, it is what it is. We'll deal with it. But you know, one way or another.
Yeah, and we'd be happy to speak with your caseworker. I'm going to guess that person's probably got a degree in social work and not human resources. So we'd be more than happy to work with them and explain to them this side of it. Maybe you need a mutual agreement.
This person is over medical and a disability and so forth. And she has a lot of people underneath her as far as she takes care of and what she works on.
Okay, yeah, probably.
So, I mean, you know, I don't know the law. You know, and then when I was talking with her today, because of the follow up, and brought this up, and she's the one who told me that. So, I mean, you know, I don't know which way to go, but we'll get there.
Yeah, it's, you know, this is a situation that I don't know that the township has faced. And our
It's never faced
township,
this.
exactly. And it's not just that you're an employee of this township, Mike, we're family. This township is more than just bosses and employees. And so there's the heartstrings and the law that have to work together and make sure we're taking care of our own, taking care of you, taking care of ourselves legally, and making sure that the outcome, whatever it ends up being, is the best for everybody. And that's a challenge that we're working on right now.
Yeah, we'll get through it.
Mike, can I ask you a question? You said that they're saying disability. Are you saying that this illness that you have is a disability?
No, I'm just saying she handles all the cases for disability and other cases, medical cases. That's what her job is for laws. It's like almost, she ain't, I wouldn't say labor law, but she deals in cases on Medicare, Medicaid, and everything. So and that's what her job is.
Okay, but you're not on Medicare or Medicaid, are you?
No.
Okay.
I work a lot with those caseworkers because of Ezra right now, and they are fantastic at negotiating the system, and I couldn't do what they do. But I know that there are some other things that they may or may not be aware of because that's not their area of expertise. So we can work together and get this fixed and make sure you get what you need or what you deserve or whatever needs to be done.
Well, like I said, we'll look into it. You know, we got two sides of this, and we'll get through it. I just wanted to bring up my side. I mean, Jason brought his up, and you know, if I got to do that, that's fine. But if it's you know, by rights the township is, then we'll go that route. But we'll get it figured out.
And I will say, Mike, since you brought it up, I also told you on our phone conversation that our intention is not to push you out, not to
Well,
eliminate
I understand that.
Hold on, because
that.
I don't want this to have a certain kind of slant. So I'm going to be very transparent on this. I made it very clear to you that our intention was to keep you in the position that you are, albeit a reduced physical role due to any limitations you may be found to have. And until we can make an informed decision and then have a conversation to work with you through those limitations and accommodations per the American with Disabilities Act, that this is just, we are protecting you from both civil and personal liability. We're protecting the township from liability. And all of this has been vetted by legal counsel. So this isn't something that Jason went and said. Jason went and did.
Well,
I want to be very clear.
Well, I understand. I understand you went legal.
You did say, you did just say that there's two sides to this, and there really isn't. There's the township.
I've got a caseworker. Well, I've got a caseworker saying the township should be paying me, not me.
And we are.
My leave.
Your sick time is accrued.
No. Not use my leave time to pay for my salary. The township should be paying me. Now, that's what I got a caseworker telling me. And you're telling me I got to use sick time and vacation time. So, I mean, that's the two sides of the story. So if we can get that straightened out one way or another, that's fine.
Mike, I will say in my years that I had in human resources, my years with Ohio labor law, and my years of experience with hiring, firing, paying, your caseworker is potentially wrong. I'm not going to say flat out wrong.
Okay.
But that's
I know this might be not compare apples to oranges or whatever, but how can, when you hear about a police officer doing a shooting, he goes on administrative leave, paid administrative leave? I mean, you put them on administrative leave, but they still pay them. I mean, I know that might be apples and oranges.
That's not
But-
illness. They're not offered for an illness, and they're still coming in during that often administrative leave for questioning, for investigation. They're
So
not
they're getting
offered
paid.
illness, but they're not
So
sick.
they're getting paid to come in then. I
And
mean,
you're
if you're administrative leave, you don't come in, right?
Unless you are requested, which happens quite often because,
Okay.
and Tim can probably clarify this, Chief Littleton can probably clarify this a lot better if you're talking about a police officer, but there are investigations, there are things they need to be doing, even if they're on paid administrative leave, they're still doing administrative duties. While we are asking you to consult and asking you to supervise, it's a minimalization of duties. And if you are
Well,
working,
and that's what I did. That's what I've been doing. And that's what I've been doing for the last week. I've asked what you trustees asked me and not run equipment or trucks, and I've done that.
okay, if you are physically on the clock, that's one thing. If you are not physically on the clock, you are not at home, or you are at home, you are not at the township building, and you are not physically working, those are sick hours. Those,
Yeah.
if you are not physically on the clock, we cannot pay you. It is not legal to pay an employee for time that is not on the clock. Anytime you're on a phone call, you can put that on the clock. If you're talking to somebody, if Randy needs to call you during the day and ask you a question because you're at home or you're at a medical appointment or something, and Randy calls you and you take 15 minutes, that's 15 minutes of accrued pay. That's 15 minutes that you can get paid for from the township. If the other 7 hours and 45 minutes, you're sitting at home watching Netflix or whatever, not saying you would, but just if, then that is sick pay. We cannot pay your salary if you are not serving the township at that moment.
You know, like I said, either or, that's the question I was brought up to me when I talked to them, and we'll get through it. And whichever way it goes, we'll get through her.
Well, Mike, if you'd like to give us that lady's name, we can call her and find out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I don't have it with me, but I'll give it to you.
I'm just saying, you know, if there's something that we need to look into as a township, but like Jason stated, it was by legal counsel. So,
Well, I mean, going through this ordeal, there's things that I found out that things have really changed. So, I mean, times have changed, and I don't know, but we'll get through her.
I have a question, since we've discussed about the policy handbook and everything. A couple of years ago, I got the Clay Township's policy handbook and I gave that to Trustee Mears. Did you ever finish with that, typing that up, or is that still on Karen's computer?
as a matter of fact, I have a video call this week with Lexpol. So I will be meeting, they're going to show me a demonstration.
Okay.
on handbook.
Was there anything else?
Other than that, that's all I've got.
Okay, before we move on, there was a question submitted through the township website for the road and cemetery team. I'd like to read it and just get a quick response if I could. It said that they've called a few times to the maintenance garage and left a message for a trustee. They didn't say which trustee. For most of the summer, there's been tires along township roadways. There's one on the 1300 block of Old Dayton and a large pile on Crawford's Tom Road, just south of Little Richmond. Whose responsibility is it to remove tires, the township or the county?
Those are county roads, so it's
No,
county.
Okay,
Okay.
I just wanted to be sure.
That is county road, but that gentleman uses them tires across the road with a excavator. That's why they are there.
And that's the one that's on the, on Crawford's Tom, just south
Both
of.
Old Dayton,
Oh,
Old Dayton and Crawford. Yeah, I talked to that lady when she called, and I did tell her it was a county road, and the county was responsible for that. But I found out later that the tires were used to cross the road. You are not supposed to drive a crawler or excavator on the road unless it's rubber tracked, and that's what they use to move the excavator.
All right, not a problem. I can write up an email response and take care of that. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, Chief Littleton, your report, please. Is he still on?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Sorry, yes,
I had to unmute myself. I'm sorry.
you're okay.
The police department hired on a new individual yesterday. His name is Dakota Cox. He's fresh out of the academy. Actually, he graduated the academy earlier this year. Anyways, we hired him part-time with a pay rate of $10 an hour while he is in his FTO status, while he's in field training. So I would need a resolution to be passed and accepted by the trustees to accept his appointment.
I make a motion to accept our new, is he part-time, Chief Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the name again, Dakota Cox?
Dakota Cox.
Right, yeah, I make a motion that we hire Dakota Cox part-time at a rate of $10 an hour.
I'll second.
Mears,
Yes,
Hartshorn,
Yes.
Quinn,
Yes.
Secondly, I know we've had some emails regarding the fuel stipend for Detective Waymeyer. The cruiser, her cruiser had came in just towards the tail end of her fuel stipend being up. So she was already 2.5 months, close to 3 months in to her next fuel stipend. I think it's only fair to go ahead and give her that fuel stipend as owed, and then she understands and recognizes moving forward that fuel stipend is no longer available because of having the cruiser for her to use.
And that was for $200, correct?
Yes, sir.
Was
I
that the
kinda thought-
prorated amount?
I think it was 250.
I thought we had already agreed to do that. We had passed a resolution at one of the meetings stating that that's what we were going to do until the cruiser was in service.
I think there was some misunderstanding with the language in that resolution versus where the cruiser was delivered or where the vehicle was functionally placed into service. I think that was kind of the hang up there with that.
Yeah, we had a delay in the cruiser being delivered. So that pushed out the stipend a bit longer than what was previously approved.
Right.
So I'd like to make a motion to pay Detective Waymeyer a one-time fuel stipend of $200 for the fuel used due to the late delivery of the police cruiser.
I thought we just corrected it to 250.
It was 250.
Okay, apologies.
But do we need a resolution? Or you're extending it? Is that correct? Or what's the resolution? Because we already passed a resolution when we gave Officer Waymeyer the fuel stipend.
So, okay, so the original, if what's at issue was the original time frame, then this would be a one-time fuel stipend, not a continuation of the previous fuel stipend. Is that accurate?
I think there was a miscommunication because there is a difference between delivery of a vehicle and when the vehicle is actually placed in service. Just because we physically had the vehicle didn't mean Detective Waymeyer was using it yet. So her fuel stipend had not yet ended. And that's the time frame we're supposed to be paying her for.
Okay, so we don't need the resolution. We should be able to just say that this falls under the previous resolution and move forward. Okay.
I know several of the residents have been asking, to see more statistics with the police department and, what we have done over the last 30 days, things of that nature. I am currently working on getting all of our stats for 2020 put together. I'm going to have to wait till the end of December in order to get the finalized stats. But once I have that, by the end of January of 2021, the stats will be not only shared at the trustees meeting, but it will be posted on our website as well. So people can log on and look. Kind of give you an example of like what the stats. We'll look at all the total dispatches that we've had for the year. Those will be broken down into categories, which is how we're dispatched. From there, we'll break it down even further to show how many reports were taken out of each of those categories. We've also broken down our traffic citations for stats. We hit some of our major categories, which we've seen a lot of. So, for example, would be speeding. But we have those broken down into categories, and then I've also broken those down into officers, so you can see what officers have wrote, what citations as far as the categories, and then we're adding onto there the geolocation of those traffic citations, so that way residents of the township can see that the officers are, actively patrolling every road in the township, and they're not leaving a road uncovered or unpatrolled during their shifts or even for a simple citation. So that information will all be published no later than the end of January of 2021. And with building the stats out the way that I have built those out, we'll be able to send out monthly stats moving forward. So next year. So at the end of January, you'll have the stats for this year, then you'll have the stats for 2021 for January. So we'll go implement that, moving forward. This coming weekend, we're doing our shop with a cop. The kids will be at the police department about 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll spend approximately 45 minutes or so with the children and the family, eating some breakfast finger foods. From there, we'll convoy over to Meyer. We'll spend about an hour and a half or so shopping. Once we get everything checked out and loaded up, we're going to head over to Company 7 there in Inglewood. Should be there about noon for lunch. And then after we finish lunch, we'll come back to the police department and help the children wrap their presents and everything. Santa will be delivering those presents on Monday, December 21st at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, along with meals and stuff that some businesses have donated so the families can have a Christmas dinner. So that's what's taking place for the rest of the month with some public activities and public relations.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Chief Littleton. I know the residents have been asking for metrics and a better understanding of the work that you and your team do. I think it's outstanding that you're going above and beyond to provide both monthly reports as well as future metrics. That'll go a long way for the trustees, the township, and the residents. So I want to thank you for that.
Yes, sir. It has taken some time to try to get something that is easily that we could put together on our end, but then on the back end of that, uploading those stats and everything. So we've got a system that when we plug our stuff in, it automatically is generating our charts and everything for us. So we're not having to spend extra time putting the information in and then the extra time to build the charts separately. So these two systems will communicate together, and it should run pretty smooth. So yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, IT isn't easy. I just want to say that for the record. IT is not easy. And trust me, when you start talking about integrated solutions where you don't have to hire that expertise, that gets very expensive very quick. So kudos to you and your team for finding a way to do this efficiently and with such detail.
Yeah, I've seen a rough
Thank you,
draft
sir.
of it. I've seen a rough draft of it, and it's very impressive what he's done. So, yes.
Chief, can we still get little blurbs put into the Star like Brookville and Clay do about this happened on this road on this date, in that crimes page?
Yes, ma'am. Officer Douglas has been working with Marilyn to get things pushed out. I know Marilyn had reached out to help push the permission to sit in residence driveways. So her and Brian have been working hand in hand on getting information out through the Brookville Star.
Is that form now on the police website?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was looking to fill out a copy myself, so want to make sure I could find it.
And then with that system through our website, you log in, you type in your information, and you submit. You hit the submit button, and it automatically throws it in our matrix for us. So that every time that somebody signs up, it updates our list instantly, which makes it very nice. So there's not a delay in moving it again from this system over to here and then publishing it out to the road units.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, Chief Littleton, is that all you have?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Miss Kaler.
Right. I have to report on trash that we have received 1,107 trash bill payments since the bills went out in September, the 30th of September. And there were 285 bills lost by the post office that have finally been sent in with payments. So they finally did get them delivered. 5 of the trash bills were returned not deliverable, and I investigated those addresses and I have resent them out. And there are still 192 trash bills that have not been paid for the fourth quarter. For zoning, I have issued 1 pole barn permit, 1 shed, and 1 portable storage unit permit. Currently, I have no zoning applications, but I have mailed out 2 zoning applications last week for pole barns, but I've not received anything back in. And I am currently working on finding out who owns the properties where the shipping containers are on them. There's one on Wolf Creek Pike. I did find the permit for that particular container, but it expired June 16th of 2004, and the container is still sitting there. Sulphur Springs Road, there's one there. There's no permit on file. There's one on Brookville Piermont that just popped up in the last 30 days. And it has a shipping container and beehives. We have no permit for that there at the township. There is a shipping container on Harriet Street. And there's also one out on Little Richmond Road with a travel camper that someone is staying in. I went out on Friday and checked that out, and they are still there. So if anybody knows of any others that I may have missed, please let me know.
I think there's one on Amity and Sulphur Springs.
Amity and Sulphur Springs.
Yeah, right down from the township. And Miss Kaler, the one on Harriet Lane, that one has been moved.
Awesome.
I'll double check it tomorrow, but I came by there this weekend.
Okay.
And there's another one on Providence Road too. I can get that address for you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, is that all you have?
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, now the trustees reports. So I've helped out at the township office, talked with the health department. I do have again, a meeting set up either the 10th or the 11th, an online demo and with Lex Pole for the handbook. Been down Sheep Road a couple times. I will be attending the Shop with the Cop on this Saturday. I did go out and buy new flags for the township with the township credit card. Got them for all the cemeteries. I did talk to the VFW. They only supply flags for the Piermont Cemetery. And Mr. Barry Goforth dropped off a new POW flag for Piermont Cemetery. And the other flags that we'll be taking down, and we have some, I'll be taking them up to Mackins for the Boy Scouts to get rid of, destroy. And I did receive an email from Miss Binkin about a Mr. Bentley in Piermont. I've talked to him a couple times. He's asked for another phone call, so I'll give him a call either tonight or tomorrow. And that's all I have.
I don't have a ton. I did speak with the Beckett Berenice people, and they are willing to meet with us at our next work session to do a presentation about what they can offer as far as the penny pinching, finding lost money thing that they do. So I will get back with Travis and let him know that we're still on for that, if that still works for you guys.
Yes.
Spent some time cleaning yards after storms, and I've driven through a couple of the cemeteries and taken walks through some of the cemeteries. And I've been looking at our policy manual, and I know Missy's got some stuff coming up with that. I did a kind of mini crash course based on current events on the Ohio labor laws. It was online, and I tried to get as much info out of it as I could, but I would like to sit down with some of the different department heads at some point and find out what their take is and what their policies would, what you guys want to see written. So Mike and Randy, at some point, maybe you guys can help me understand what you guys are looking for, and Missy is going to then have the information on how we implement that into a manual. But I want to make it like a team effort if we can. The only other thing I really did, I talked to a couple other townships about how they're handling holiday things with COVID, if they're doing anything. And this COVID thing, once again, we're in for the long haul. From the information I've got, it does not look like the governor will be shutting us down again at any point in time soon, but we are going to remain on quite a few restrictions. So encouraging the township folks to do your diligence, keep away from folks. Holidays are coming up, and everyone, nobody wants cooties at Christmas. So that's pretty much all I've got. It's been a kind of slow month for me.
Thank you. Jason?
Yes. This month I've attended the MVRPC, or Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission, TAC and disaster recovery meetings. I drive by the township building multiple times a week. The ramp project is looking good. It's underway. I did get an update from Kramer and Associates that the ramp project should be completed by March 1st of 2021 to allow for the inspections, closeout, etc., to take place prior to the March 31st deadline outlined in the latest revised Montgomery County funding contract agreement. The feeling is that it'll be done probably sometime in January, but you never know how the weather's going to go. And so we have plenty of time. We're on track. More updates to follow. I've been continuing to update the website, uploading documents, and tuning that a bit more, as well as managing the Township Facebook page. As always, if there's questions, comments, inputs of any kind, I'm happy to talk about them, and I'm happy to see what's viable for implementation. So I look forward to your inputs. The township Wi-Fi router has been finally purchased and delivered. That was an adventure. I'll just leave it at that. I will be coming into the township offices to install that after the first of the year. As for the follow-on to the HyperReach demonstration that we had last month, a poll to gauge resident interest was created on November 30th. And the poll was then shared between the township Facebook page and other Facebook groups. As of this morning, 20 residents were in favor, 7 were not. And to the person that signed up as Jason H, not in favor, the irony was not lost on me. Thank you. We all need a good laugh from time to time. I am doing additional investigation into some alternative options, both for using this capability through possible partnerships. And that is all that I have for this month. Thank you.
Okay, great, thanks.
Hey, Jason, can we find out if New Lebanon's fire department has HyperReach?
So yes, I can reach out to them. Basically, I'm in early discussions with Brookville since they do have the full suite of HyperReach. I talked to Chief Fletcher in some detail earlier this week, and he's open to partnering with us and folding Perry Township into Brookville's area for HyperReach. We still need to have some conversations in the coming weeks about what that could look like, what that could cost, if that would be included in the services that we already received from them, et cetera, so on. So we haven't got down to the details yet, but we have had initial conversations on that.
Okay. Okay, any new business?
So yes, I'd like to make a motion. Whereas Perry Township wishes to ensure that the road department continues to perform its duties and responsibilities in a full capacity. And whereas Perry Township wishes to ensure the safety of employees of the road department. Therefore, Mr. Randy Robbins will serve as the interim road supervisor effective December 8th, 2020, and will serve in the position under the job description of road supervisor.
I second.
Hartshorn,
Yes.
Mears,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Okay, and do we need to set a date for our end of year meeting?
yes, December 31st. Does 10 o'clock sound okay?
I need to check dates, but as far as I know, that sounds fine to me.
I'll need to coordinate that. So I'll let everyone know.
Yeah, we'll email you, Miss Binkin. and we'll
That'll
get
be
it done.
fine. Yeah.
Okay, no other new business?
Maybe. I have a computer that I would like to donate to the township to put in the office to sit at the desk. It's old. It doesn't have much on it. Jason can potentially wipe it clean and start tabula rasa, but it would give us something to connect files and word process, if nothing else. There's already a printer and a monitor there. It's just a CPU, or I can give you the barely working monitor that I have with it. And I didn't know if I can just do that, or do we need to vote on that? Do I need to make a motion that, or I donate it, or that the township accept?
Jason, you're the IT guy.
Yes, I am. What I would recommend is if Mindy could bring it in, set it up there in the front so that I can power it up, take a look at it, and see if it's something that we could use. And then if it's useful, then accept the donation and assess a monetary value to it for donation purposes. I think we're required to do that. So yeah, if you want to bring that in, Mindy, I will take a look at that. I'll put it on the list of stuff I'm doing after the first of the year.
Awesome, thanks.
Okay, any old business?
I have a couple, just because I'm not for sure if I didn't hear this or what, but I know a while back we talked about preserving the township books. And Jason, you were going to get with the Brookville Historical Society. Have we looked into anything with restoring?
So I've talked with the Brookville Historical Society. I'm due to circle back with them. There was some closures and whatnot due to the COVID impacts. And I will be getting with them next week to find out what we need to do to take care of that.
Okay. And then do we have any community organizations? I know, Mindy, you were looking into that. I didn't know if any came up or.
We've had a couple people that volunteered, but because of COVID, nobody's really gotten together for anything. We have 2 people that have stepped up and have been kind of helping neighbors and doing neighborly things, but not officially as a group.
And what about the Centennial T-shirt art design? Was that going to go on Facebook or the website?
Again, that has not yet happened because there wasn't a lot of interest from people when I spoke to them about it. With everything going on again with COVID and our meetings and things coming up that were priorities in the township, it kind of got put by the wayside. I would still very much like to see us get shirts. I happen to be wearing a Perry Township shirt as we speak because I'm a big fan of, supporting what we do. I'd like to see us get more or do something like that. What do you guys think? Should we wait till the beginning of the year? Start now? I'm game for whatever you want me to do.
We can wait till after the new year. We got a lot going on with the year end.
Yeah, there seemed to be a lot of things that just kind of popped up that took precedence. And so with everything else going on and the meetings that Jason and I have been going to and everything else that kept coming up, it just kind of kept getting pushed back as not a huge priority, but something that I'm still hugely in favor of doing.
And then also the cemetery masonry, was someone reaching out, a trustee to someone?
That was me. And I still haven't heard from my gentleman, so I'm going to see if I can find somebody else. I'm going to try to reach out to somebody else.
Okay. And the KLA, anything to reduce risk and liabilities? I know we had the fire departments was one that Brookville had to check with their legal. Did New Lebanon, Miss Maddie?
New Lebanon has never reached back out to me. At that time when I talked to Miss Keaton, everything looked good. And again, she has not gotten back to me, but she saw no issues with changing the language. It's just the language. It's, get how she phrased it, but she had no issues with it. But there again, she's not reached back out, and I have not heard a word from Miss Madden.
Okay, that's all I had.
Regarding our end of year meeting, on the 31st, it does not right now look like I'm available until at least noon.
That would be fine for me.
If we can even go maybe 1 o'clock, that would even be better.
Now you all know that's New Year's Eve, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guarantee I'm not gonna be there till midnight.
No, you have to be at home by 10.
Forgot about that darn curfew.
Okay, we'll just email you what we think.
Okay.
Okay, any visitors this evening?
Yes. My name is Jessica Wells. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I live at 21 Heckathorn Road, and in sort of a roundabout way, my husband and I received a citation from Perry Township regarding an unpermitted in-ground pool. there's a little bit of an issue with how Montgomery County has our deed recorded. So it's a post office issue, a Montgomery County issue. The Perry Township issue is based on the information that I was provided. I was told that a trustee was driving around and saw my supposedly unpermitted pool. However, my pool is clearly permitted in the city of Brookville, in which my residence is located. So I have just a couple of questions for whomever it was that happened to make the report on my property. Starting with, do we know the date of the complaint? Okay, moving on. I wanted to know if it is the typical practice of Perry Township trustees to argue with their zoning officer after she has explained that the property in question actually is within the bounds of the surrounding municipalities.
Who argued with her?
As far as I know, it was whichever trustee made the complaint about my permitted, unpermitted pool.
Okay, I had been in a conversation with Miss Kaler. I didn't know anything about it and heard about it after the fact, but I was under the impression it was not a trustee that made the complaint, and that once Karen investigated it and found out it was a county property, it was a done deal. Or I'm sorry, a Brookville property, that was the end of it.
Well, the information I was given stated that a trustee made the complaint. And it wasn't necessarily the end of it, because the complaint was in fact sent out to my Brookville address. Perry Township ends at my curb. So that's one issue. But the complaint was sent out, and my husband and I provided a copy of our Brookville permit to help resolve the issue so that other residents of surrounding municipalities don't have these problems going forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I know it wasn't me, and you know, I can't speak on behalf of Missy or Jason, but I'm going to potentially guess that it was not actually a trustee unless you have a name of who that trustee was. And you don't have to disclose it, but.
Right. No, I do not have a name of who made the complaint, but I did have a follow-up question. If it was in fact a trustee. Of the many projects my husband and I are working on in our backyard, which are all permitted through the city of Brookville, where we live, the one project that cannot be seen from the road due to my 6-foot privacy fence is my in-ground pool. So I'm interested to know why there was no complaint made about the fence that is not permitted in Perry Township, or the outbuilding that we are constructing that is not permitted in Perry Township. The one thing that can't be seen from the road. There's no explanation for that, in my opinion.
How did somebody know about it if it can't be seen from the road?
That is my question exactly.
So
I would like to know if someone entered my property and looked over my fence, because that is a huge violation.
Mrs. Wells,
Yes.
this is Karen. As I explained to you before, there is absolutely no one, none of the trustees, none of the former trustees, myself, is permitted on your property. And I guarantee you, none of us went on your property. We're not permitted to do that without your permission. And as I spoke with you before, I have put into place a way to investigate to see if, and when there's a complaint given, I can investigate it to make sure that a permit was not issued through Brookville, New Lebanon, or whoever. I'm very new at my job, and I guarantee you, if there's issues, I will get them fixed.
And I would like to say, Ms. Kaler, that my concerns are not with you. I understand that you were very much just doing your job and your duty. And I appreciate that very much. And I am grateful that you took the time to talk to me the day when I brought the permit over to you.
And I appreciate you bringing the permit.
The fact still remains that whomever mysteriously made this complaint against my property, I have a 6-foot privacy fence that I installed that is permitted in the city of Brookville as well. You cannot see my pool from the road. So I'm very concerned about how this was done and brought to the attention of the zoning officer in the first place.
Karen, how did you find out about it?
I had someone call me. I'm not going to give any names. I don't think that that's a good thing to do.
Right.
But like I said, there are people all through the township, the trustees, the former trustees, the BZA members, they're constantly looking in the township to make sure that we are all doing what we're supposed to do and making sure that things are done according to the township text. So, as I explained before, I have a way now to check before I do send out these letters.
Mm-hmm. And I can appreciate that. But again, I was wondering if I could get the date of the complaint just so that I can check my security cameras to be certain that no one entered my property.
Give me just a minute and I can get you the date, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And are you aware of any complaints about my shed or my fence, or was it specifically just the pool as was indicated in the letter that I received?
It was just the pool.
Okay, thank you.
And to be fair, there is no zoning regulation against fences, privacy or otherwise in Perry Township.
Okay.
We've butted up against that probably in the last 3 or 4 months. And we've proved that there is no zoning against fences.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It may take me a minute if you guys want to go ahead.
Okay. Any other questions, Ms. Wells?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Any other visitors this evening?
I don't see anyone coming off mute.
Okay.
Hey, Missy.
Chief Littleton, you're live.
Yes, ma'am. I have something to add. I was letting everybody get through.
Go ahead.
The police department had challenge coins and Christmas ornaments made. Those are in. We'll be putting those up on our website, that if anybody would like to purchase either one of those, they're there for purchase. The challenge coins are $10 and the Christmas ornaments are $5. And that's just to cover the cost of the coin and the ornament.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Chief, are you still on?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Waymire has a question.
Do we charge anything for the services of subpoenas?
Not that I'm aware of, but I can check on that.
But off the wall question, but we have 11 of them we just served. And one was in West Manchester and one's in Fairborn. So, okay.
I'll get with Nathaniel or anybody from the courts to see how we go about that.
Thank you.
Ms. Keller, would it be easier if we get Miss Wells's phone number and you give her a call tomorrow?
Yes, that would be helpful.
Okay. Miss Wells, is that all right with you?
Yes, that would be fine.
Okay. Would you like to call the office tomorrow, Miss Wells, instead of giving out your phone number over the thing?
Yes, I would prefer that. Thank you.
Okay. Miss Kaler, what time will you be in the morning?
I'll be in the office at 9 o'clock.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Okay, anything else this evening? Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Mears,
Yes.
Hartshorn,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes. And since this is our last meeting of the year, everybody have a safe year and a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Here, here.
Thank you.
Okay.